Patrol lacks staff. The appropriate solution is to increase their staffs, not to raid the armed forces. This should be an amendment to another bill. Fourth, INS Customs and Border Patrol all are staffed with people trained in the skills those agencies need.
That we all of us reported to work, not just as Customs and Border Patrol and Coast Guard or TSA or FEMA professionals or elsewhere, but we all reported as members of one team. New team is the Department of Homeland Security.
For the most part, with a variety of our domestic agencies, with the Department of Justice and with the Drug Enforcement Agency and Customs and Border Patrols and those types of things, and they have a relationship that's been long-standing.
Which is designed to target and inspect high-risk cargo before they leave the ports. Well, what the GAO said is that it specifically noted that staffing imbalances are one of the factors which limit the Custom and Border Patrol's ability to successfully target containers to determine if they are high risk.
This would not change port security one iota. The Coast Guard and the Customs and Border Patrol remain in charge of our security. The Coast Guard remains in charge of physical security. The Customs and Border Patrol remains in charge of cargo security. And there are a number of safeguards and security measures that we have put in place to make sure that cargo is screened before it reaches our shores.
Security, which is in the very capable hands of the United States Coast Guard and the Customs and Border Patrol. This is about commercial operations at a port.
A case as an example, we did it with ICE and with Customs and Border Patrol, and in conjunction with the Chinese authorities, in which we seized millions and millions of dollars of counterfeit goods, and a number of persons were arrested.
Name is added and a carrier misses the added name. That Customs and Border Patrol, once a manifest is locked, runs those names through a center and can identify anything that a carrier may have missed.
General for the Texas Air National Guard, General Daynard, thank you very much as well. General Mike Kostelnik, he's the Assistant Commissioner, Office of CDP, Air and Marine, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. Look, he's the guy in charge of airplanes and boats.
Well, thank you, Attorney General Holder. As you know, late last night, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents at New York's JFK Airport apprehended and detained Faisal Shahzad, a naturalized United States citizen, in connection with Saturday night's failed bombing attempt in Times Square. Due to the vigilance of CBP officers working with all of our law enforcement partners and relying on enhanced DHS security measures, CBP was able to quickly identify, apprehend the suspect.
It's an important context that I wanted to make sure that you are aware of. In June, Customs and Border Patrol apprehended an average of around 355 unaccompanied children per day in the Rio Grande Valley. According to preliminary data, tracking the first 2 weeks of this month, CBP apprehensions have dropped to an average of around 150 unaccompanied children per day in the Rio Grande Valley.
In fiscal year 2018, Customs and Border Patrol reported a 30% increase in apprehensions at the U.S.-Mexico border. Looking further back, the monthly apprehension total this past October reached its highest level in 4 years. 4 years.
What are you going to do?
Margaret, it's totally unacceptable, but the American people deserve to know that our dedicated Customs and Border Patrol agents are literally being overwhelmed by hundreds of thousands of people coming across our border to take advantage of loopholes in our laws.
So, over the years, the government has permitted personal supplies of prescription drugs to be imported from Canada, but without adequately informing the Congress, the Customs and Border Patrol last November implemented a new and stricter policy on personal prescription drug importation. Last November, this new policy, without informing the Congress, was quietly implemented until hundreds of complaints from constituents across the country, press reports, actions by various congressional offices uncovered this shift in policy. I can tell you that 900 prescription drugs were intercepted just in the city of Miami alone. The reason behind this shift still remains unknown.